I was a very broken child, both mentally and physically. I have many disabilities, but to name a few, autism, visual impairment, ADHD, maybe, and I don't mean maybe like some preteen girl named Arson on Discord self-diagnosing herself like, I actually have schizophrenia, depression, Tourette's syndrome, I can't stop cursing, heterochromia, you clearly don't have, and also, I'm mentally mute. How are you mute? You were literally just talking. No. You see, I'm mentally mute, not physically, so I can say stuff, but nothing's going on up there. Yeah, I can tell. If I could think, I'd be really angry at you right now. No, I mean, I actually went with doctors and psychologists and stuff after I got fully diagnosed with autism to get tested for ADHD as well, and they were like, okay, the results are in, and according to this, you do fit the criteria, but it's also been a while since we diagnosed you with autism, and right now you're a bit, not well in the head, so, come back and fix yourself, Ionsha, and we'll see if you still meet the criteria. Oh yeah, that! Trauma! Add that to the list! But let's start at the beginning. The very first disability I can ever remember actually affecting my everyday life was surprisingly my visual impairment. Apparently, I always had trouble with schoolwork and reading, so much so that I had to take multiple eye exams and stuff like that. And they were like, okay, yeah, you need glasses, you blind bat. I don't know what level they gave me, but I had those bad boys on for like 2 years. They were these really bright blue tube-shaped glasses that stuck out like a sore thumb. But I picked them, I'm sure, so I can't complain. I do have a really embarrassing photo of myself from back then when I had just lost one of my front teeth, so I had this big buck teeth looking gap in between my teeth, combined with my reading glasses, so I look like that though. Actually, image. Whoa, Kelsey, that must be so hard. How do you live every day wearing reading glasses? Here's the tricky part. I don't. What? Yeah, for some ungodly reason, after those 2 years, they took me back to that eye place, and they were like, hey kid, read this. The apple were once from a tree. What does that even mean? Doesn't matter. You could read it. You don't need this anymore. Yeah! And from then on, I just never wore those again. I mean, it's not like I could, even if I wanted to. They literally took them from me. But here's the really frustrating part. The other day, I went back to the doctors to do the yearly checkup and stuff. And when it came down to the eye exam, I did big bad, surprise, surprise. And they were like, have you considered getting glasses? Make up your fucking mind. You're more confusing than Arson changing her self-diagnosis. And guess what? After all that, I still haven't done more research into getting glasses just to stick it to those doctors. Though I guess it's more revenge to me than it is to them. But you know what? I can't see the point. The second disability I had was a lisp. So apart from not being able to see the feckin' words, I couldn't read them either. And for that, unfortunately, there was no glasses or machine they could just stick in my mouth to make the words sound good. So I had to take speech classes, which were actually a lot of fun. Mainly because I didn't really pay attention when we did exercises to learn how to talk. Instead, they had these iPads, and I was obsessed with them. Because they had this specific game called Tokaboka's Kitchen, which we were only supposed to play/get when we did good. But instead, I just spent the entire session begging to play, and they were like, listen, this is really important for your future. How are you going to get a job if you can't even talk properly? Yeah, just give me Tokaboka! And then I would just spend the next 20 minutes not in class like I was supposed to be, making the characters throw up. And dude, I was a freaking master at that. Not only did I make them throw up, but there was a special animation they could do where if you made the food so horrid, they would literally fall and pass out from how disgusting it is. And I got that multiple times, which just goes to show you, when I'm so dedicated to something, I can do it. Like purposely making the characters in a video game sick, ignoring my responsibility to get better at talking. Oh yeah, I never fixed that. You can probably tell. My mom tells me I did graduate, or had to at least, because I wasn't in the class anymore. But I know for a fact I didn't, because I saw the other kids whenever they were done with class get a big certificate and a cookie, and walk across the stage in glorious honor whenever they graduated the class. But for me, I just got Tokaboka taken away from me and had to go back to regular class. Next I remember affecting me is autism. Weirdly enough, it didn't really affect me growing up. I mean, I got bullied, but that's because I was a weak wimp and other kids were mean. And also because my parents just didn't know this. I mean, they thought I was a strange kid who ate mud, but they were like, oh yeah, here's our firstborn. Very smart, this one. And this one's a bit, broken. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it goes to school and does what it's told, so we don't care. It wasn't until my little sister was born that they couldn't ignore it, because I have level 1 autism, which basically means I have trouble communicating and experiencing my feelings like you're supposed to, because I feel them differently. But my sister has level 2, which was that but multiplied in a bunch of other things. I'm not getting into specifics of autism here. Basically, they couldn't just ignore that she wasn't developing as much as the other kids, so they went to figure out what she had, and they diagnosed her with autism, and I'm sure they were like, okay, yeah, so what this means is she's different, but she's still human. Her emotions are more complex, yet more simple, but hard to understand. Her whole life will be different, but she can still live a good and long one, as long as she's cared for properly. Huh? She's worse than the other kids mentally, but that doesn't mean... Wait, worse than the other kids mentally? That sounds like... Secondborn! And boom! I got diagnosed after her. So thank you, little sis, for making my life easier. When I was getting diagnosed, they had me do like a bunch of tests to see how well I understand everyday lingo. And one was doing phrases that are more figurative than literal, like, try putting yourself in their shoes, which if you don't know, means imagine being in their place, not literally being in their shoes. I know that's obvious, but I'm just trying to help a buddy out, okay? Because apparently some people don't get that since it was on the quiz. So yeah, I understood most of those phrases, but in the end, I don't know if they just started making up stuff up to challenge me or what, or if that's generally how normal people are supposed to talk. But dude, some of the phrases were just like, well, if lobster had legs. Peter, darling, who let the horse galore? What the ones them figured out the toys would attack, riding the mountain top horse in districts. Literally, they made no sense, so sorry for not getting that, which I guess is maybe why they slapped that big fat autism label on me. Now finally, mild scoliosis. I know, right? I can't see, understand, and now my back's crooked? What the f*** do I get in this cruel, unjust world? Next, you're gonna tell me I don't even like my own body! But anyway, during a daily checkup, they were making me walk in a straight line, like a sobriety test or something. Which is weird because they picked the one day I didn't get into a drunk driving incident. Disclaimer, this is a joke. I am a minor. I cannot drink or drive or get employed. Well, I mean, you should be able to drive by now and also get a job, you bum. I'm working on it! Actually, you're not working. That's the point. I'm about to get you with scoliosis! Anyway, they examined me and were like, your walk seems kind of crooked, boy. Child. Come up. You might have mild scoliosis. You should definitely get that checked out by a professional. Aren't you the one who checks it out, Doc? Doc? Doc! And they didn't do anything about it. I don't know what the big hullabaloo about that was, but later I went again after a year and they were like, well, what the f***, dude, you have scoliosis. Dude, we're diagnosing you right now. What's the difference? These doctors have the memory of a goldfish. Hearing all these stories, you'd think I went to the back alley and paid some guy $5 to stuff needles in me for a doctor. I swear I don't. I mean, at least the type of guys you pay $5 behind an alley probably wear a mask, even if it's that type of mask. I went to those same doctors peak COVID season, and they all had their masks under their noses. Ugh. Honestly, you know what? I am self-diagnosing myself with terrible doctors.